What's up, everyone? Scotty from Chernobyl Studios. Welcome to another edition of Does It Suck? And it's like every second or third video, we have a Bogren Digital amp simulator on here. I'm not complaining because they're amazing, and the MLC here is no exception. So as you heard in the demo video, just in the beginning here, all of those guitar tones were with this MLC, and this is the actual session right here. I thought I would discuss what I did in this session first, and then later on in the video, I'll do a quick demo just of the standalone plugin, because there's a couple of features in the standalone plugin that are not in the VST version. And then we'll just like create a tone really quick and see what we can do. So let's just look at the GUI here. Now, truth be told, I'm not the biggest fan of these all-encompassing GUIs. I've talked about this before in other videos where I really dislike having to click all the time if I want to do something individually. This is a really good step in the right direction as well, and I'll explain why. So we have the plugin here. It looks amazing. The graphics are freaking phenomenal. Does that matter to you? I don't know, but I think it looks cool. And me particularly, I love the way the aesthetic of the amp looks anyway. You know, with this design, I think it looks awesome. It's very like just dark and, you know, it's up my alley design wise. Let me put it like that. It's very easy to use, like everything that you would expect to, you know, in the spot, it's where everything needs to be. We have a tuner down here, works fine. We've got the preferences up here. Remember that if you put this on a bus group, you probably have to go to the preferences to turn on stereo processing. And then we have the presets up here. It's all wonderful, fantastical. Okay, a lot of really cool presets for different artists. Pretty neat. This is a good amp. Sound wise, it's really low gain if that's your style, but we'll talk more about that when we develop the guitar tone. So what do I mean when I say like the GUI is a step in the right direction? Here's a really good point of what I mean. Here are the overdrive pedals, right? And if you look just below here, you can see that you can still adjust the tone stack. This is very important because oftentimes you'll be adjusting the pedals, right? And then you'll go, okay, cool. I guess I need to add a little bit more low end or something now on the tone stack. Okay, I got to click here, add this, click back, go back here. And there's just this back and forth clicking really sucks. This is a great design aspect here where I can do this and go, oh, I need some more low end. Just go down here and you can work on the tone on one page. This is very important, especially if you want to get a lot faster at creating guitar tones. You know, this just aids in speed, okay? Same thing if we go to the cab section. It's kind of like if you had just kind of knelt down before the speaker or whatever, and you got the tone stack on top. It's easy. So you just move the microphones where you want them, if you want to do that, and then change the tone stack, which I've done. Okay, and this is even with the EQ module. This is genius. I mean, genius insofar as, yes, this is what I want to see. I can adjust the EQ. And I can go back and forth, be like, maybe that was a little bit too much EQ here. Oh, I'm really having to bump a lot, or I'm really having to take down a lot. Let's, you know, whatever and whatever. And then finally, we have, again, the max delay and wet, I almost said wet verb. I don't know why, but the wet verb. And again, the tone stack is always available. The tone stack is always available to adjust. I think this is a great step forward in the GUI design. It's one of the first things I noticed. Really cool. Second thing you'll notice here, the icons are color coded. So for example, if I turn on the OBD1, you see a red button come on up here. This is really great for visual feedback. So if and this has happened, I'll be using a different product, for example, and I'll be like, damn it, did I put the overdrive on? I don't remember. I need to grab my mouse, click and look and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I did turn it on, cool, and then go back to what I was doing. Here I can just look, be like, do I have verb and delay on? I don't remember. Oh, yep, sure do. There's the pink and the blue. All right, we're good to go. So these are really good design aspects that really help with flow and creating guitar tones. I'm a fan of this. Okay, so I'm keeping the topic that I want to discuss last before we talk about how I'm, you know, did the mix of the song. They are introducing this IRDX technology. So if we hover over it, it's the impulse response dynamics. adds natural speaker movement, compression, and distortion. I have a couple words to say about this. This is fine, by the way. I'm not complaining about this. I'm not going to say this is bullshit. I'm just going to say that Kazrog, I think it was already 2015 or 16, had already been working to implement something similar to this. So this isn't really something new. It's just something that only Kazrog was doing like 10 years ago, and for some reason nobody else has tried to do it. I will say, I'll be completely honest, I don't think this is going to make or break your guitar tone. You know, I mean, standing in front of a speaker, pushing actual air, that's physical stuff that you can feel. Once it goes through the microphone and stuff, it's kind of like, there's a difference, but still, if you pick the wrong IR or you craft a shitty guitar tone, the IRDX is not going to save you. Okay, it'll probably just make it worse, if I'm being honest with you. But this is really a cool concept, and I really hope they continue to work with this and refine it. There is a difference, but it's not gonna go from amazing guitar tone to holy fucking shit, this is the best guitar tone I've ever had in my entire life. It's just another micro aspect of making it better, but you still need to have the fundamentals down pat. So if you can't generate a good guitar tone, the IRDX, it's not going to do anything. That being said, the IRs here included are awesome. You heard everything. Everything is self-contained in the plugin. I didn't use any third-party stuff or third-party IRs. Everything is right here in the plugin. I really enjoy the multiple ways I can interact with the microphone. I can grab it here. I can grab it here. I can change the angle here. I can hold shift as it's saying here and use the mouse wheel to change the angle. However you might interface better with the microphone, there's 3 different ways to really do that. So it's going to speak to most people, I believe. And then the speaker mix, very important. The guitar tone is pretty aggressive sounding. I'll have to admit to you, it's quite aggressive sounding. It's very aggressive sounding, but in the mix, this is pretty much exactly what I wanted. And a lot of these EQs I ended up doing when the mix was playing. So the tone stack I created, but the EQ is really, I kind of started to shift it and shape it before I did the refinement over here. So let's talk quickly about what I did with the EQ here. I'll just kind of breeze through this. It's my guitar tone master EQ process, but it's a bit more refined. So I do my filters first. I find 2 whistling frequencies or resonances that really bother me. I take them out just to the point where I don't hear them anymore. And then what I've started doing is I've started using a lot more multiband. You can blame Cola for this. I've been using a lot more multiband to make my boosts or reductions of guitar tone more natural sounding. If you do too much EQ on your guitar tones, they just sound washy and phasey and nasty. And this comes down to using 0 latency EQ, where everything, a phase gets adjusted. It's technical, it's outside the scope of this video, but the point being that if you EQ your guitar too much, it's going to sound like shit. So I EQ the things specifically that I don't like, in particular the nasty frequencies, and then I will control the high end, or I'll boost the high end, definitely control the low end or whatever and whatnot with multiband. Now this just seems obvious to me after doing this, with just EQ for so many years, but this is pretty much the refined process that I have now. And I didn't use the API like I normally would because I boosted a lot of that in the plugin itself. And I think that pretty much is enough, so I don't need to use anything else extra. So that's the tone I came up with. All right, so I'm just taming it a little bit, smoothing it out a little tiny bit so it kind of fit in the mix a little bit better. All right, now with the leads, it's the same business, same plugin. I just changed the guitar tone a little bit. Obviously added a bunch of reverb and delay. I changed the tone stack. I changed the IRs here. That's a really big thing that you need to do if you're using the same amp simulator or the same gear in general. Try to change how the source is being captured. It's very important. That'll automatically change the frequency response and how the guitars are playing with each other, and so the leads will stick out a little bit more. If you use the exact same thing to try to do leads and rhythms, they'll just mesh together too much and there'll be no definition. So I changed the microphone position, the angles, the microphones, and the mix so that the lead guitars sound different. So even when I bring in 4 extra guitars, the leads are popping through no problem, okay? I think I'll talk about this now. The only thing I can probably say that kind of annoyed me a little bit is these colors, all these creative names that we're starting to run into with, instead of just like putting the word EQ and then treble and bass, so I know exactly what the hell it is. I either have to get a tooltip, which thankfully Bogren Digital put a tooltip here to tell me that this is the EQ control, or I have to fucking guess and move the knob and figure out what it's doing. That sort of annoys me a little bit. I just want to know what I'm doing, not have to like figure it out. Okay. I didn't have to figure it out because Bogren put a tooltip. It told me exactly what this does. So that's 2 thumbs up. That's kind of why I kind of forgot about that until I just looked at the pedal again. But in general, I'm not a fan of these really weird namings. I just want to see presence, depth, bass, mid. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see like things that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's kind of where I'm getting at. All right. But that's what I did with the lead guitar tone, and we get a result like this. And I think that sounds incredible. I'm very impressed with it. I wasn't really sure what kind of result I was going to get with the amp because it's a pretty low gain amp, and I was playing in drop A. I was like, nah, I'm probably not going to get the note articulation that I'm looking for. But with a little bit of massaging, just working with the plugin for a little bit, I actually got a pretty good result, and I really like it. This is really good for cleans as well, which I'll show you when we do the standalone. Which I think we're going to do that right now because I pretty much showed you everything what I did in the mix. It's very simple, just honest to God, just basic EQ and creating a good tone. As far as the plugin is concerned, like, is it good? Does it suck? No, it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't suck. But let's jump into the standalone now and create a guitar tone just right now. Okay, so I was trying to do the standalone version, but apparently it just wants to record my DI, and I'm not interested in that. So down here on the standalone version, you're gonna see a metronome and the ability to record riff ideas into a folder. I think that's awesome. It really reduces the barrier from idea to audio source, so you can get the riff out of your head and then something to listen back to work on and extrapolate upon later. I think that's great. It's fantastic. It's actually a large reason why I have a number of Cubase templates that I can load so that I can record the riff idea instantly and then save them. But this is great. So what we're going to do now is, this is just what the default preset sounds like when you insert it into Cubase. So it's very, very low gain. And I'm just playing a budget level guitar. This is the BC Rich Ironbird 1. It's quite budget level with stock pickups, okay? So in standard detuning, I think this is a very fair, reasonable way to create a guitar tone. All right, let's look at channel 1, which is obviously your clean channel. Which I like a lot. I think the clean channel on this amp is really nice. I will be using this for any clean channel needs that I might have, which is not very often, but it's very smooth sounding. I think it sounds great. Obviously, with some reverb, it would be even better. Delay. So, freaking sounds real nice. I'm kind of just gonna leave it at there, but it's a really nice delay and reverb. Really cool, really cool. So let's skip ahead now to channel 2 just to show you what we can do here. I think I might develop the tone on channel 2. It's really low gain. This is going to be a very good practice amp if you're going to want to improve your picking and clean picking on the guitar, because every mistake is going to be very, very obvious. Channel 3, I think, is just... I'm really listening to the saturation, what the low end is doing. That one feels pretty... It's not that tight, so I think I would prefer to go to channel 2 and maybe turn the gain up. A solo gain. I just feel like the low end is getting a little more out of control on channel 3. Whereas even with the gain dimed on channel 2, it sounds better. I'm not going to touch any of the tone stack yet. Let's get a distortion going on, overdrive. So at the stock settings, that already sounds a bit genty. This is more what I want. It's a little less bright on the high mid attack. I would rather add more if I need to, not have too much. So I'll bring the drive all the way down, bring the level up. Now we're getting that distortion that I was kind of looking for. Just pulled it back a little bit so it wasn't so saturated and noisy sounding. The EQ control I probably won't touch, and the bass maybe I might need to. Depends. I'm gonna leave the bass right there because I'm only in D. I'm not that low. I would imagine if you went lower, you could dig out the low end and the bass out of here. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's now move on to the cabinet portion. All right, let's go right to the modern cab 57. Mix. Wow. All right. Now tone stack. By the way, I'm just going through what I teach in Guitar Tone Master. I'm sorry I'm not explaining every single little step. It's just I don't want to get pedantic and make this a 3-hour video. Now I'm gonna refine the tone that I have here with the IRs, with the depth and presence. I like to work from the outside in, like from the power amp into the tone stack, because presence and depth I think have a large effect. That it's kind of like mixing with and without a compressor. Sometimes if you mix without it, you get a pretty good result, but you put the compressor on and you're like, ooh. So I like to hear what I'm going into first. Incredibly low gain. It's ridiculous. Maybe I'll push it harder with the pedal here. Yeah, that sounds pretty gnarly. I like the way that sounds. So when I create guitar tones, I try to go through a couple of different things. So in my opinion, it's pretty easy to get a chug chug that sounds pretty good. That's pretty not that difficult, I think. The challenge comes in having the same articulation on chords and higher strings. So stuff like this. So everything's pretty articulated there. Let's try some drone note stuff. And what I'm really listening for is if I have too much gain or distortion where I can't hear the articulation between the drone and the fretted note. Because when you get into black metal and stuff like that, it's that kind of shit gets lost pretty quickly. But in part due to how low gain this is and just pushing the shit out of it a little bit with the overdrive in the front, we still have a lot of articulation. And I mean, I do like how this sounds. Yeah, that's pretty black metal. And then we have the delay. I mean, should I? Does it necessary? Delay does the delay stuff, reverb does the reverb stuff. And in my opinion, this is a fantastic amp simulator. Love it. Yeah, big fan. Big fan. All right, so that's going to do it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Big thank you to Jacek at Bogren Digital for sending the plugin over to me and for sponsoring this video. Yes, I did get paid for this, just full disclosure. The link down below to the MLC Subzero 100 is not an affiliate link. Just wanted to let you guys know and be upfront about that. So thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, please let me know. See you in the next video.